Hello there everybody, this is Federal 500T back with you for an interesting little video. This is a little bit different than what I normally do. You can see I am actually doing a screen capture, but what we have here is a program that I've just written, a PAControl, as you might be able to gather from the executable name. You can see there's a lot going on here. We have a card folder which holds the files for a card that you want to install, one card at a time. We have an option folder filled with some configurable options. We have a source which holds all the source files. As you can probably tell, this is a console application written in C++. And we have a tones folder filled with the scripts and the actual tones themselves. There is no auto-ranging. It is set at 30 seconds, 1 minute, or 3 minute activation lengths. Most everything else is configurable, except for, of course, the pitches, although you can install your own cards and create your own individual files for each tone, should you want to. We have a cycle, which controls the duty cycle, and most of this is actually modifiable inside the software dynamically, instead of you having to go in and change the files manually. But you can go in and change the files manually if you want. Just be aware that if you change it to something that it doesn't like, it could cause a really huge problem. To be launched contains the name of the script that is supposed to be launched, and that will be launched by the sound program. Install launches the installer script for a particular card, and to be rem holds the generic name of sounds that are supposed to be removed by the removal script. Hopefully that didn't decide it was going to run. I'm going to check in here and make sure that there's nothing going on. Actually, if it decided it was going to run, it would give me an error message. The magic begins, however, when we run the actual program itself. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, that's not how that's supposed to work at all. What it's supposed to do is maximize, but it doesn't seem to want to do that. So anyway, we'll just do it manually. It was doing it before. It might have something to do with the fact that I'm running a video capture now. And you can see it outputs the header. Say there are 2 banks and 6 cards per bank. It's configured for low tones, and it outputs a list of all the cards that are installed. And then we come to a wonderful little menu here with a submenu. This runs setup for individual cards. You can unconfigure cards, which prepares them to be removed. You can change the siren duty cycle, or you can exit the actual program. If you press escape, that exits that menu and brings you back to the main menu. But you cannot escape the main menu. So let's run a tone, shall we? Let's run the growl tone. And actually, first, I'm going to change something. I'm going to change the duty cycle. Because right now it's set for 30 minutes, and I simply don't have 30 minutes to be waiting for the next activation that I can do. So let's change it. You can see it will only let you change it to a number between 1 and 120 in minutes. So this isn't seconds, this is in minutes. If you set it to 1 minute, it technically doesn't really work at all. And that's why I set it up like that. We're going to set it to 1 minute anyway, just to make things easy. And we're going to wait for it to automatically change it itself. As you can see now, what it should have done, if we take a look at the file, is changed it to 1 minute and 60,000 milliseconds for the sleep timer. Let's run a tone. Let's run the growl tone. Is this okay? No. Let's see what that does. So that does exactly what it's supposed to do. In the course of testing this, I have found a number of bugs, so hopefully none of those decide they're going to make an appearance while I'm trying to make a video about it. So let's actually run that. And hopefully this won't blow your ears out. In fact, I'm going to turn the volume down. So hopefully now it will not blow your ears out. Hit yes. Should activate. probably over top of my talking, but I have no idea. So you'll see you have to wait for a minute after that happens. And so we will wait that 1 minute. So as you can see there, after a minute, it comes right back to the main menu like it is supposed to. So how about we run a tone that is not growl or the test tone? How about the whale tone? So it'll prompt you again for the same thing, but now it will prompt you for a length. Think about this carefully. Do you want it to run for 30 seconds, a minute, or 3 minutes? Entering 30 will allow it to run for 30 seconds, and the rest should be self-explanatory. Let's run it for 30 seconds. It will then make you wait 30 seconds so that you can get out of the area or put on headphones should you want to do that. This is mainly as a precautionary thing so that you don't blow your eardrums out, because countless times I have run an activation tone and I have almost blasted myself right out of my pants. And that's never a good thing. So I implemented that on my siren controller, and now it's in the controller program itself. So now you can hear it activate. I can hear it going, so it is working so far. You'll also see that this little sleep timer will not work exactly the way it's supposed to. So we'll just wait and see. Again, there's a 30-second delay between the implementary growl tone to get everybody out of the way, or to tell everybody that they should get within a safe zone away from the siren. And so that's how that all works. So if we wait for the tone to actually activate here, which it should do pretty soon. You can see, obviously, it doesn't work too well. Because it's still going. So. Which is why I think that a duty cycle of about 30 minutes should be alright. You don't want to blow your siren, because that's never a good thing. Just so you know, I'm not actually outputting this to my, what is it now, PA1501? Yes, I'm not outputting it to that, I'm outputting it to a set of earbuds, so as to not blow everybody in the house out when I'm trying to test this program. So how about adding a card? Let's see here. Let's open up our, oh, I guess I can't do that, isn't that just nice? I have a folder that's filled with, I have it somewhere. I just don't know where it would be. And if everything would load, that would be easier. Here it is. So here should be all of the individual cards that you can install. Dual tone, single tone. This is a dual tone model. I only have dual tone set up right now. So let's say we want a medium pitch, or a low pitch, because that fits. Low pitched 16 step chime here. You want to insert that file into card. Hopefully I didn't just Control X it, because I don't want to do that. No, it's still there. Right. Then you want to extract this. It will not extract it itself. Into card. That's very important. You want it to go into this individual folder, so we'll put it into card. And we will extract it. And you will see all of a sudden a bunch of files show up. The install script for that particular card. Hopefully it didn't run. Actually, it didn't. A couple of launcher scripts, the actual tone itself, and a card definition file. This is what the definition file looks like. This is the card name. This is the generic script name. So if you want to make your own definitions files, this is what they look like. You want to make sure that this information is set up exactly like this. This line doesn't matter. What you put in this line doesn't matter, but these two lines do matter. It has to be on line 3 and line 4. And you can't reverse the order either. So what we'll now do is we will go into other options. Actually, that's not quite what we have to do. What we have to do is one more thing, because it won't do this automatically itself. Go into option and edit the bank list here. So let's say we want to install this at a card in bank 1. Well, there's no choice really, because the first bank is already taken. Bank 1, card number 2. It can be anywhere from card 0 to card 5. Anything above or below will not work. And if you try to install it to 06, that also will not work. So let's just say 1, 2 for now. Save that. And we're going to reboot this. So you can see you can shut down or reboot. And if you don't want to actually do that, you can hit no and it will ask you again. And we want to reboot. So what it should do now is restart itself, hopefully without incident. Hopefully this works. You can see all of the stuff shows up. No card installed, no card installed. It's going to think about it for a second. And it says that the card's installed, but the system has no identifier. And it's going to prompt us to run setup. You need to note the bank and the card number. So this is bank 1, card 2. We need to know that because we're going to have to enter it into setup. The reason why it takes so long to start up is because you might want to write that down. So let's run setup. It's in... If we want to enter like bank 7, it's going to say invalid bank ID. So we want bank 1, card 2. Yes, this is correct. It will remind you to put all of the files into the zip directory, or it will unzip it into the card directory, and it will open up the file, obtain the parameters. I feel like I should be sportscasting this. And then it's going to add it to the definition files. What you will notice now is that it should, at least in theory, be on card list. Yep, there it is, Westminster Chime. Close that out. And now it will execute the script necessary to move the files over. And if you'll notice, in card, there's nothing there anymore. And then it says card installed. And in a second, it should prompt us to reboot. Press any key to continue, and it will reboot the system. So now, when we run the program, it should tell us that we have the card installed. No card, Westminster Chime installed. That's exactly what we want. No system setup required. Now you'll notice something interesting when we go to run that. We'll say yes, but it will ask us what the duration will be. Now, for anybody that knows, there's no specific set duration, but that's okay. That's where the scripts come into play. So if we say we want to run it for even for 1 minute, or in fact 3 minutes, activation will proceed in 30 seconds. And what it's going to do is it's going to run the same file no matter if you select 30, 1, or 3. In fact, I'll demonstrate that after this is done. So let's say that we want to run that again. Yes, but let's say 30 seconds. So you will see that it will launch the same tone every time. So how about card removal? Well, let's take a look at that. So let's unconfigure a card. Again, we want bank number 1, card number 2. Yes. It will prepare to unconfigure the card. And let's observe the tones folder. You should see the files disappear as soon as it runs the appropriate script to do so. Like it says, it'll take a while. And there you see them disappear. Remove the line 12 from card list. There's a bug. But anyway, you will see here a reboot is required, so it will reboot the system. And what you will then notice is that there is now an unconfigured card. That's interesting. You just remove it. In a second, you'll notice that it will have an unconfigured card. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's thinking about it. It's trying to obtain the information, but I can't find it, so... There you will see it will say unconfigured card. Isn't that interesting? Well, even though it's now removed the file, or the scripts and the tone from that folder, and also the tone list here, it's removed from there, and it's also removed the card's name when it opens. But what you will see is that it's not gone from the bank list. You have to remove that manually, save that, and what you can also do is delete this, because you may or may not need it anymore. But you might want to keep it in there for safekeeping. You never know. So we're going to reboot now, and I'll show you that that card is now removed officially from the system. And there you just saw Bank 1 Card 2 is no longer installed. The whole you needing to remove it manually is to simulate the insertion and removal of cards. I did that intentionally. I could have very easily done it in software, at least very likely. But again, it was not only was it more work than I wanted to do, but it is also it also simulates it the way it's supposed to be. So that, I believe, is all that needs to be said about that. We're going to change the duty cycle back. Let's say you want to change it to something obscene, like something over 9,000. Let's go to 9,001. Entering a number will either crash, or a high number over the limit will either crash the program if the number is way too huge, or it will issue a warning. Hopefully right now it's going to issue a warning and it isn't going to crash the program. You can see it will just issue a warning. But this is what it looks like if you crash the program. So let's enter in something sane. Let's reset it back to the 30 minutes, and it will change the duty cycle back to the way it was. So that's just about it as far as I know. The other information that you need, it is on my website. As of the time that I'm making this video, the website is not even started, so for all you know, the link could not even exist yet. Well, the link will exist, but the page that it's linking to might not actually even exist. So I'll be patient. I'll get that up as soon as I get that up. It is a lot of work. As for our removal of the standard bundled cards, like the growl card, the test card, the steady card, the whale card, and all that other stuff, you might want to be warned that deleting the growl tone might cause some undesired problems with some of the other tones. I haven't issued a stop to not allow you to do that. I will eventually be putting that into the program, and by the time that this shows up, that might be in there. So this is not exactly 100% complete. This also is Windows only. It has some very Windows-specific things in it. So unfortunately for all the people who are using any Unix-based operating system, they can't use this right now. Eventually I will be creating a Unix-based version of the same thing. So there you have that. As for the tones that are bundled, I might issue those in cards, but I might not. As of right now, they're just bundled with the version that they come with. And all the individual cards will be available on the same page by which you can download this. I highly encourage you make your own cards and submit them to me so I can post them up on the site as third-party cards. That would be most helpful, because it always helps to have some flexibility as to what you can use, and make sure you experiment. It doesn't hurt to do any kind of experimentation. But all the other information is on the webpage. As for now, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is Federal 500T signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then.